we're looking at Prey, developed by Arkane Studios, published by Bethesda Softworks. So Prey is a first-person immersive sim, I believe is the genre name we're going with. Kind of like Dishonored, kind of like Deus Ex, Bioshock. Lots of those feelings playing the game. I'm currently hunting one of the enemies, a Phantom, who I have wounded. Not that that's a state or anything, he's just at half health or something. And he's hiding. And he's around here somewhere. There he is. And I nearly killed myself doing that. Right. That did not go as planned. Which is kind of something I can say for my entire playthrough of Prey. This did not go as planned. So, if you've played Bioshock or System Shock, any of the Shock games, you've kind of played Prey, because it doesn't do too many things different. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, System Shock and Bioshock are very well regarded for a reason. It's because they're very good games. So what I would say about Prey, so I haven't finished the game yet. At time of this recording, I'm still playing it. I'm about 30 hours into it. When I checked that time, I thought that was a bit short. I thought I'd been playing it longer than that. But yeah, I'm about 30 hours into it. I'd say I'm fairly close to the end now. Although I have thought that before, and then another story beat happened, and okay, no, there's more game here. Okay, fair enough. So Prey takes place in a alternate future where JFK survived his assassination and went on to kind of really force the whole space race thing to such an extent that we are on a space station. We are on a privately owned commercial might be right, but it's privately owned anyway, space station called Talos 1. And for various story reasons that happen early on in the game. Kind of a spoiler. Kind of weird to have a spoiler like right in the first hour, but anyway. I'm not gonna... you can look at other videos online to see them. But anyway, you're on a space station orbiting Earth called Talos 1. And they're doing various science things like developing new technologies, such as the neuromod, and the neuromod allows people to kind of inject proficiencies. So let's say you wanted to learn how to play the piano, and you didn't want to spend time, actually having to go and do that, because that's a lot of years of your life required to do something like that. You could get a neuromod from a famous pianist, or like a good pianist, and take that neuromod, and then you will learn to play the piano, or you will just know how to play the piano. Matrix, right? Downloading things. I need to learn how to fly a helicopter. Bam! Now I know how to fly a helicopter. That kind of thing. Only really painfully awkward injections. Like the neuromod in the game has to be injected through your tear duct, I think. It's in the eyeball anyway. And, why? How are you selling these things to people? How are people willingly jabbing themselves in the eye? Although people put contact lenses in, it's always weirded me out. It's like, how can you do that? That's just... Anyway. So that's neuromods, and that's the excuse for you to have upgradable things like getting better at hacking, or having more stamina, having more health. I don't know how someone's life experiences help you get more health, but whatever. That's its excuse. So the game will split 2 trees, 6 trees actually, but broadly 2 trees. You have human-based neuromods that deal with things like security and engineering, and the third one that I can't remember what it is. But it's basically, you know, it's your standard, like, more health, more stamina, better weapon handling, slow down combat, get better at hacking, get better at repairing things, that kind of thing. You know, it's fairly standard. It kind of plays in more into the Bioshock end with plasmids and things like that, because there are aliens in Prey, and you are, I guess, the prey of the aliens, or they're your prey, I'm not sure, because you're killing them. Anyway, and you get neuromods based on their abilities. So here's some of them now. These are, so the enemies in the game are the Typhon. And they are colloquially known in the game as mimics. And they are called mimics because they can mimic objects in the environment, which is a really cool idea, which I really like. Basically, you walk into a room and any object in the room, it could potentially be a mimic. Not quite any object. When you play the game long enough, you'll know there's only some objects are gonna. You're never gonna see a mimic table. Basically, you're never gonna see a mimic pillar, a mimic wall. You know, anything that seems fairly structurally required for the game to make sense. But you'll see like coffee mugs, chairs, you know, things like that. So you'll walk into the room and think, okay, how many of these things are going to try and kill me now when I just take a step forward? And it's a cool idea because it does like bring a bit of tension into the gameplay. You know, you're walking into a new area. Where are the enemies? You know, it's not immediately obvious to you. And it is executed well enough. Like, there are areas I come in and I'm like, oh, hang on. Why are there two chairs at that desk? I will shoot one of the chairs. And naturally I'll shoot the wrong chair. And the mimic will pop out and kill me. But it's good. And like some of the scripted ones are really good as well. Like, you'll walk into a room. It's always you walk into a room. But anyway, and you know, you'll see something looks out of place, something doesn't feel right. And, you know, you shoot it. And you're like, oh, yeah, that was a mimic. Crap. Kind of where it falls down, and kind of where game design, or the fact that you have to play it as a video game, kind of doesn't work, is that they're not fun to fight. Once they go into their alien form, if you're like their weird spider head crab thing, they're not a whole lot of fun to fight. Because they're tiny, and they're on the floor, and they move really fast. And early in the game, the only weapon you have is a wrench. So you're basically whacking yourself in the foot all the time, just trying to fight them. So where's it gone? Where's it gone? Has it turned into an object now? No, it hasn't. It's on my back. It's like... It's fine to fight it like the first couple of times, but after a while you're just like, really? Do I really have to keep doing this? It's... Even when you get guns... Like, I'm not a big fan of anyone who's watched any of my videos, any of the LPs. I'm not a big fan of shotguns. Or rather, they're not a big fan of me. I'm just not good with them. And it's kind of the only real weapon early in the game that is of any use to you. Or at least for dealing with them when they're just flailing around. Because obviously shotguns have a big widespread in video games, so chances are you'll tag them even if you don't really hit them that well. So this room is basically designed to show you what recycler charges do without you having to waste your own. So it turns objects and enemies into materials, which is pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to fighting the mimics. They're not fun. They're a cool idea. They are executed quite well until you have to fight them, and then it becomes a giant pain in the ass. Particularly... I think one of the issues I have with it is that they sort of immediately change from their mimic form into their alien form. You know, they don't really give you the opportunity to just walk up to, like, let you walk past them and then they attack you. Or, like, I'm still waiting for the time where I pick them up. Like, I pick the object up and then it turns into a mimic, you know? Or I put it in my inventory even, and then I'm walking 5 minutes later, I'm attacked. It's like, what? Why did that happen? And maybe that's kind of shitty if you're doing it a lot in the game, but I thought it would be a good idea. And I was actually kind of waiting for it to happen, but never did. You know, you do have like there's a bit in Metal Gear Solid where Revolver Ocelot slips like a bomb into your inventory and you don't really check it. You know, you're walking down, like it is a good like 2 minutes later or something before Otacon is like, Snake, there's a bomb in your inventory, you might want to get rid of it. Of course, if you know it's there, you can just get rid of it straight away. But anyway. So yeah, mimics. Cool idea. They're not really that much fun to fight. So we saw the material stuff. I might as well talk about that since I ended up talking about the mimics a little bit longer than I wanted to. Anyway, materials. I can't remember if I have a section on this in the video later or not, because I don't actually remember what my footage is, because I didn't check on it before I started recording this voiceover. Anyway, this could be really boring footage. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it is. This is gameplay. I'm not editing anything. Anyway, materials. So you pick up junk, basically, all over the place, that you can transform into various base materials. So like organic material, inorganic material, synthetic, and then exotic material. And exotic material is Typhon stuff, mimic stuff. And you use that to fabricate, or craft rather. It's fabricate in the game, but you know, crafting system. And you use it to make ammo, you know, medkits, psi hypos, that's how you use your super moves. You can use it to just straight up make guns. You know, so if you come across a fabrication plant for a gun and you haven't picked up the gun itself yet, you can just go make the gun instead. Which is fine. I don't know why you'd want to make more than one gun, ever, so... I don't know, it's a bit weird that that's an option, but anyway. So a lot of the game is go into the room, take care of any enemies, and then scrounge for materials, get as many materials as you can, restock your supplies, get yourself more ammo, get yourself more health. Sometimes you need the fabricator to make plot items, so you'll need your materials to do that as well. It can be annoying when you don't have those materials, because now you're stuck. Well, I can't forward the plot until I find materials. It's fine. It's like, it has never happened to me, but it's obviously it is possible for it to happen. A problem I'm encountering at the moment, late in my game, is that I never have enough to make ammo. Like, I never have enough to make shotgun ammo or pistol ammo, and they're the weapons I use the most. Which is probably incorrect, but I do use them all the time. They're my big hitters, because I didn't take a lot of offensive neuromod powers. A lot of them are defensive or exploratory, like hacking or repair and things like that. I don't have that many combat ones, so I am relying on my guns a lot, and when I don't have ammo, the game kind of slows to a crawl, you know? I'm trying not to be seen here, and then also using the computer. And now everybody knows I'm here. Great. Right, so there's a lot of different types of enemies. So we haven't seen me fight the mimics, but the mimics were there. Phantom at the start of the game. And then you have these operators, which are robots, that have been corrupted somehow by the aliens. I don't know how. This is pretty much the only power I have, which is slow down time. And the only weapon I really have right now is the shotgun. So this is kind of what I'm doing. This is very early in the game, so I'll say that. This footage is taken. I'm in the hardware labs, which is right after. If you played the demo, it's right after the demo. So get to the end of the demo, and then you could play this, and this would be almost exactly. See, I haven't realized yet that guns actually do very little damage to the operators. It takes me way too long to work that out. You're better off using the wrench in these situations. But no, I didn't realize that until much later on in the game, which is why I have so little ammo. Okay, so enemies. You have the mimics, which are the small head crab guys. You have the phantoms, which are the bigger human-sized typhon. You have even bigger versions of them, which are kind of just big floaty blobs. There's two types. There's a technopath and a telepath. And based on their names, you can probably guess what their abilities are. Although the technopath mightn't be that obvious. The technopath corrupts in-game computers, or not computers, in-game robots, so operators and turrets and things like that. The technopath will set them against you. And the telepath will set people against you, which is particularly annoying when you are trying to get through the game without killing anybody. Which I have managed to do, but there was a lot of reloading involved in any telepath fight where there's other humans around. It can be quite annoying. So you have those three. You have the three Typhon levels, we'll say. So you have the mimics, you have the phantoms, and you have the big blobby guys who don't have a catch-all name, or at least I haven't found a catch-all name. And they all have... The mimics are the most interesting, conceptually, to me. The fact that they can disguise themselves and be kind of sneaky. But they're not a lot of fun to fight. The phantoms... their movement is really nice. They have these kind of short-range dash, short-range teleport. Which I quite like. The thing is, they're also not that much fun to fight. Or rather, the regular phantoms are fine. They're interesting enough. They're standard enough that really you can take any approach with them and it'll be fine. My issue is when they start specializing the phantoms. So you'll have a fire phantom, you'll have an electric phantom, you'll have a toxic phantom or something like that. And fine, you need to change your strategy to fight them. The thing is, they're not fun to fight. Because I can even explain why they're not fun to fight. They're kind of forcing you to use a particular strategy if you want to do this in any way efficiently. And I just don't like, I've never liked that approach. So when you have an open-ended combat system, which you kind of do in, like you do in their old game, like they made, Arkane Studios made Dishonored, right? So Dishonored has a very open combat system, and it's mostly because the enemies are so standard. They're just people. You can take any approach you want to them, really. And there's a wide variety of abilities. And there is a wide variety of abilities in the game as well, based on the different aliens. So you have the fire phantoms, you have fire powers. You have electric phantom, electric powers. Their teleport dash, you have your own teleport dash, which is really nice, and I actually really like that move. More games need teleport dashing. But when you start specializing enemies, and when they have particular strengths and weaknesses, you're just narrowing the combat system. It's not open anymore. And that's... I don't like that. I'd much rather give me standard enemies that might have new... It's not gonna sound right, but new abilities. Give me like a standard enemy who just has extra moves, has extra abilities. Don't give me a completely new type of enemy that requires me to use particular moves. And this is a horrible explanation. Okay, I'll give one example. So, the Devil May Cry enemies are very varied. Very varied? Great. If I can speak English. Anyway, what I mean is, you can fight them with any strategy you want. Really, like any strategy is viable in Devil May Cry. I'm will stress the Capcom Devil May Cries. You know, you can use anything to fight pretty much every enemy. Are some ways more efficient? Sure. But nothing is so inefficient that you just wouldn't do it. Whereas Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry, now I do like Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry, but I will also say that some of their decisions in their enemies were a mistake. And the ones I'm going to say are the color-coded ones, which basically said only these types of moves will work, and no other. And Devil May Cry is a game like built around its combat systems. It's built around you just mixing different things together to make cool moves. That's not even being facetious about it. That is what the game's design is. It's even rating you on how good your moves are, and then you're just restricting me to specific moves. And that's just what happens when you're going to tell me that this enemy is immune to this. This enemy is immune to fire, so no fire. You're like, great. What if I, specialized in fire moves? Now I can't use them. Now I'm, now I'm fucked. And that would be fine if you had the opportunity to mix up your moveset, which you don't in Prey. So Prey, for story reasons, you cannot respec. So whatever points you use, whatever abilities you install in yourself, it can't be changed. You're stuck with them. So if a move doesn't work the way you thought it did, tough shit. Or reload, I suppose. You could always do that. I'm too far into the game now, and I've made too many choices. I just feel like I've picked some abilities that are just wrong. Like, some didn't work the way I thought they'd work. The teleport dash, for one, I thought, when I took it, and I suppose I didn't read it properly, but I thought it was going to work the same way Blink works in the Dishonored games, because why would you have this fantastic Blink ability in your games and not put it in every single game you make after that? Because it's so good. But it doesn't work that way. It's just a short range, move me out of combat, more or less. And I'm like, okay, it's still cool. Like, it still lets you get behind enemies. But, like, it didn't work the way I thought it worked. And I'm stuck with that ability now. And if I didn't like it, that'd be shit. But I do like it, so it's okay. But there are other ones, like a kind of fire trap move, that I can't see myself enjoying at all, but it would be useful to me because some enemies are weak to it. But I'm like, I don't want to fucking take that move. Or I put points into hacking, and hacking at high level, this is stupid, I should have known better, but hacking at high level is kind of pointless, because if it's actually, like, if it's such a high hacking level that you would need to max out your hacking ability, there's a good chance there's just the key code is around somewhere. You just need to look.
You can locate him, or what's left of him, with the security roster.
So yeah, the fact that you can't respec is kind of annoying. But the fact that the enemies themselves aren't all that much fun to fight is also not great, because it means I've no particular interest in trying out new moves. I'm kind of going all over the place in this primer. This is what happens when I don't plan anything. Anyway. Like, I'm saying a lot of stuff here that I don't like about Prey. And this is kind of what I do. I like the game overall, but I will say I like the early part of the game more than I like the late part of the game. Like, we'll say, like, I put 30 hours in now, and I would say the first 20 hours I enjoyed, and the last 10 I have not. And most of that has to do with the new enemy types, the path enemies, the big blobby enemies. They're just sponges. And if you try to do anything to take advantage of their weaknesses, they run away. And because they can fly, that means they can just fly up into the roof, and I can't catch them. Because my only good weapon is a shotgun. So I'm like, great. I'm just going to have to stand here and shoot you with a shotgun, because otherwise you'll just run away. So I can't use any of the grenade weapons that turn off their powers because they'll just run off. They'll be at a range that I can't use my shotgun anymore. And then there's been a story beat that I thought the game was over, but no. There's been another new addition to the story beat that's added another enemy type, and I'm just like, at this point I'm like, no. You know, no. Like, I'm questioning whether I want to finish the game or not. And I will, because I'm trying to avoid doing that anymore. Just buying games and playing them and then never finishing them. But I'm not sure if I wasn't being so strict with myself about that, would I bother? Because... like, the part where I saved and quit last time I played it, I don't really want to go back to it. It's not that it's a tough area, it's just it's another type of enemy that I'm restricted to fight with, and I don't have the abilities to do it efficiently. And not even efficiently, just fun. Like a fun fight. I'm not going to have it. It's going to be a horrible slog, and it just seems like every fight at this point is a horrible waste of my resources. And I'd like to have them back, because I don't have a lot of shotgun shells right now. And there's no materials for me to resupply, because materials don't respawn. Which basically means once you pick them up in the room, and once you've used them to make something, you can't reuse them. You know, they're gone. You need to find something else to make more materials, and if you've already picked up everything in the room, you're kind of done. Like, the game is set on this Talos 1 space station, and for the most part you're not backtracking all that often. If you stuck exclusively to the main plot, you probably wouldn't backtrack at all until you hit the later end of the game. But if you're trying to do any of the side quests, side objectives, you will be backtracking. And if you've already cleared out the area of all of its, you know, junk, all of its potential materials, you know, any kind of backtracking is just a waste of your resources now. So you're kind of going, do I really want to do this side objective? Because if I do, I might come back to the actual main plot with no ammo, which is what happened to me. So here's an example of breaking down material. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with the game at the moment. I kind of feel like when I play games like this, and when I've twigged the gameplay loop, I have a tendency to just restart them, because I figure I can do a better job the second time through. But this game, like, it takes a while before the alien powers show up, and then it takes a longer while before you've kind of got a grasp of how they work and what are the good ones, what are the bad ones. Not the good or bad ones, but just the ones that you feel are more suited to your own playstyle. And I kind of feel like it takes too long to get there. It took long enough to the point where I didn't want to restart, because I had played too long now. Like, it takes too long to get there. But I do feel like this is a game that will play better and you will enjoy more the second time you play it. Or the subsequent time you play it, not the first time. Which isn't great. It's not that the first time should always be the best, but it's kind of glaringly obvious that the second time through would be better. So I've been toting around this glue cannon. I'll sign off with one really good thing about the game. The glue cannon is fantastic. And I'm surprised it hasn't broken the game a lot more than it should. Mainly it's used to incapacitate enemies. It doesn't hurt them, but it stops them moving, and it lets you just whack them with the wrench or shoot them with the shotgun, or what have you, and it does a bit more damage to them. But I think its best thing is that you can see on the wall over there, you can use it to make staircases, make bridges. Well, not make a bridge, that's a bit extreme, because you can't stick glue blobs to each other. But you can use it to just access areas. Like, early enough in the game. I hadn't realized you could do it. Not I realized I could do it, but I only tried doing it fairly late. And god damn it! Even got me. Fucking mimics. The glue cannon is great. It's the Blink of this game. It's this really cool idea that's executed very well and needs to be in more things. I'd like to see the mimics in more things as well, but just better. Anyway, this is cool actually as well. So you can find NPCs, and sometimes it's required for the plot, but you can kind of just click on anybody and just go look for them. The whole area is interconnected, so you find them eventually. Although that's going to be an annoying. That's going to be an annoying trophy. Track down everybody. Some of them are in some weird places. Some of them are outside the station as well. You got to go look for them. But anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. Overall, I really liked Prey. It's a very good game. I will say that. But I just feel like the combat does become a bit of a slog if you haven't, if you're not ready for it. If you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.